Capture the enemy flag.
That was awesome. As I take a break from playing Tribes 3 Rivals, I find myself conflicted. The core of this game is really solid, but very much has its roots in Tribes Ascend. For those of you who do not know, Tribes 3 Rivals is being developed by Prophecy Games, a subsidiary of Hi-Rez. Yes, that Hi-Rez. And while there is a solid team behind this game composed of people who have worked on the past entries, it's that connection to Hi-Rez that I can't really look past. Tribes Ascend was not a game that died because it wasn't popular, or due to bad support, or the slow progression, or any other reason other than this. It died because Hi-Rez wanted it to die. The game was very well reviewed, critically acclaimed, and had a healthy player base. That is until July 2013 when they ceased all support for the game and left it to die, citing lackluster financial returns and wanting to better support Smite as the reason. Then, as if to rub more salt in the wound, they would come back to the game 2 years later and drop a out-of-the-blue update on the game. This is the literal actual name of the update, Out of the Blue. It ended up being an honestly great update that put the game in the best state it had ever been in, but it was kind of bittersweet given that this was also the signal that this would be the last update the game would ever receive. From that point on, the game slowly lost its player base until it was ultimately delisted from Steam. So that brings us to today. Tribes 3 Rivals is out in early access and seems poised to pick up where Ascend left off. While the game we have right now is a little sparse on content, the bones here are really good. Gone is the insane grind for weapons and gadgets that players of Tribes Ascend hated. We've got a cross-section of familiar locations, classes, and weapons. There's no vehicles at the time of this video's production, but we can only hope that we'll see those return one day. There are two modes, Casual 16 vs 16 and Ranked 7 vs 7. I have yet to get into a ranked match, as most seem to be interested in playing the casual 32-player mode. Hopefully, as the early access period progresses and the game releases, the ranked mode will populate a little better. Tribes has always pushed the boundaries when it comes to huge player counts. After all, the original game was capable of hosting 128 players, and that came out in 1998. Tribes 3 does not do this, though, to be fair, neither did Tribes Ascend. I would love to see a 64-player mode added to the game one day, but for now, the chaos of a fully populated Tribes match is preserved through the smaller map sizes. I would also like to see them reintroduce vehicles and maybe even crossplay at some point. Outside of the main Versus offerings, there is also a gun range and a time trial mode to practice your movement, which you will definitely want to consider doing as this game is as fast as it's ever been. There have been some nice adjustments to the game just from a quality of life perspective, such as a new drop shadow icon that appears below enemy players. Previously, you had to guesstimate where they were going to land. This wasn't impossible, but this new feature makes it easier than ever to nail those high-speed blue plate specials. Or if you're just trying to cut off an enemy's escape, you can use it as a guide for where to place those Doombringer shells. We have 6 returning classes this time around: the high-speed capping and chasing class, Pathfinder, the lightweight Sentinel Defender equipped with the useful Nitro Charge to knock the flag off of a fleeing player, the extremely versatile Raider who comes equipped with a standard spin fuser and a semi-auto grenade launcher. I feel this is going to be the bread and butter for anyone who wants to take it to the front line or hang out in the midfield and disrupt the enemy team's advance. The Technician is back with their ability to quickly repair base assets, as well as throw down defensive turrets. They get a similar build to the Raider, however, I do feel their importance has been reduced somewhat. Anyone can equip a repair tool right now and effectively do the job of a Technician. I definitely would like to see some sort of buff come their way. Maybe an extra turret? And capping things off, we also have the big Chungus brothers, the Doombringer and Juggernaut. With very similar weapon loadouts, the big thing separating these two is that the Juggernaut is able to passively regenerate health and ammo when near the base, and they're also capable of doing physical damage when people slam into them or when they slam into others. With the time I've spent with the game, I can confidently say that this is an excellent entry in the series just from a pure gameplay standpoint. But I am somewhat worried about history repeating itself. The rather expensive cosmetic season passes being prominently featured on the front page, and the fact that Hi-Rez is still involved, despite hiding behind another developer, are enough reasons to give me pause. But if they're committed to bringing the series back and making it as popular as it once was, I'm willing to look past the mismanagement that occurred with Tribes Ascend. Tribes deserves to be up there with its peers like Quake and Unreal, but has historically been relegated to an afterthought by the players and developers alike. Tribes 3 Rivals in its current state is an excellent first start, but it's on Prophecy Games and Hi-Rez to prove to the player base that they're serious about reviving Tribes. If they can stay away from chasing trends and focus on what made the previous games great, they may have a shot at bringing this once great series back from the self-imposed hibernation it was in. That's all I got for now. But if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, really helps me out. Maybe even hit subscribe if you want. But that's all for me for right now, so I'll see you on the next one.